Hey guys, Beretta Millimeter USA here, and today's video is going to be the Wesson ECP versus the Wilson Combat XTAC Ultralight Carry Compact. Two very concealable 1911s that are very comparable. The main big difference between them is that this is going to have your standard commander frame versus an officer size compact frame. Traditionally, you're going to have a 6+1 with most magazines, unless you get like a 7-round Wilson flush fitting like this one in the gun right now. This is a low profile steel base plate. Because this is a commander 1911, you could put a standard flush fit 7-round government size magazine in it, or an 8-round like this from Tripp Custom magazines. This is one of their 8-round railed power mags. I just love the Tripp mags. Let me tell you, they feed ultra smoothly into the pistol. I've noticed that even compared to Wilson Combat magazines. It's kind of wild. Bill Wilson also owns this company now, in case you guys didn't know. He owns Tripp now. I think he bought the company right before Tripp himself passed away, so again, continuing on the legacy of making quality magazines at Tripp. Very impressive, this 8-round power mag. I love the base plate on it. It's very nicely designed, and again, it just shoots out of the pistol. Show you guys. Locks back. And again, very smooth operation, high quality magazines. These run about $50 or so. You can get them on Tripp website or Wilson's website if you guys are interested. And then this right here is my XTAC Alloy Compact. This is my carry gun from Wilson Combat. Compact size frame on this, so a little bit smaller overall profile compared to this Wesson ECP. You can see the difference in the size of the frame, ever so slightly longer grip on the ECP. So if you have bigger hands, you definitely like that traditional size grip as far as that government length magazine. So again, you can see the difference in the size of the magazines even here. So that's your difference in the size. Slight, but if you're looking for the more ultra concealable gun, going to be the officer size frame gun. So while the Wilson does have a slightly shorter grip, the way that I ordered mine is with the one-piece bulletproof magwell on this, and you can see how well blended the Wilson Combat is. It's just absolutely beautiful. So if I wanted this to be a little bit more concealable, I probably would have ordered it without it, but it's okay. I like having the magwell. Just makes it that much more easy to insert a mag. Of course, because this is the low profile 7-rounder, I do have to work my magazine in there and make sure that it's actually connected into the pistol when I insert it, because it's got that low profileness to this mag. XTAC pattern on the magwell as well on the front strap. XTAC pattern on the slide. Comparing that to the ECP, you got 25 lines per inch checkering on the front strap and about 25 again on your mainspring housing, which is a bobtailed back to it, so it's a bobtail. Adds to the concealment factor anyway. You'll notice that this is a standard style extended beaver tail compared to the lower profile Wilson Combat extended beaver tail. This is their concealment beaver tail, if I remember right. Wesson's square tactical hammer right here. Really nice profile to that hammer. Looks really good, and it is duty coated so it won't rust. It's one of the big problems with most of the Wessons is that Wesson isn't duty coating their hammers, so they rust. Just what happens, guys. So yeah, it has a square profile to it. Really nice hammer. Again, really nice and easy to cock back as well. Very nice. How is the beaver tail grip safety fit on this? For a production 1911, this is pretty nice. Little bit of movement when depressed. Again, pretty well blended, guys. Not bad at all. How is it sensitized? Let's check that. How far do we have to press in on the grip safety before we get activation of the trigger? About 45%, I would say. There it is. And that's the extra movement. There we go. Really nice. Really nicely sensitized beaver tail on this Wesson. Comparing that to my custom Wilson Combat. I would say about the same on this one for activation on this Wilson Combat. Doesn't have as much overall movement in the beaver tail on the Wilson Combat, I will say that. So that activation is pretty fast on both. Nice. This trigger on this Wilson Combat is the medium length pad. Comparing that, what you got on the Wesson ECP is a square profile trigger, flat faced. Really nice. Let's see how the trigger pulls on this. Really nice to find wall. Very crisp let off. Reset. Oh man, that's money. That trigger is absolutely money. Damn. Really nice safety as well. Definitely not gonna have to change out the plunger spring here. Wesson springs on their safeties are always really tight. Very positive movement. And no movement, a defined stop here. Beautifully fit safety. Also notice the slightly extended magazine release. All the parts on both these pistols are forged. Wilson Combat, everything's their bulletproof parts, and then everything's forged again on this Wesson. No MIM or cast on either of these pistols. Talking about the finishes on these pistols, the Wilson Combat has a DLC finish, and the Wesson has Wesson's Duty Coat finish. Again, both pistols have alloy frames, so aluminum alloy frames, and there is a difference though in how they go about the feed ramp on these pistols. Show you guys that. The Wesson has a fully ramped barrel in here, so a full feed ramp here to fully protect the alloy frame on this, so they actually cut around the alloy frame to fit that style of barrel into this pistol, Wilson Combat. Again, a more traditional design like a Colt Defender on the Wilson Combat here. So Wilson Combat could possibly get gouged in the frame over time by hollow points with this old school style of design in this pistol. So again, it's more Colt Defender style versus this being a modern style design. This Wesson ECP will probably outlast this Wilson Combat with how it's designed with that barrel. Just is what it is. Both pistols are running flat wire recoil springs. According to Wesson's website, the ECP should run about 15,000 rounds or 15,000 cycles of the slide with this new spring that they're running. Wesson is running again a match rate barrel. Again, both these pistols are chambered in 45 ACP, and then looking at the slide there, you can see that the Wesson has a lowered, flared, and relieved over here on the right ejection port. So a very well machined ejection port. Tri-top style design on the ECP and the TCP. Brass bead front sight. Fully serrated top strap at the slide. Really well blended back of the slide and frame as far as talking about the ejector over here and the extractor here on the right. Very nice. Wesson is also running thin profile grips. It's a change compared to this being a standard profile grip on the Wilson Combat. I love Wilson Combat's logo. Beautiful eagle. Ambi safety on the Wilson Combat. It didn't want to lock back right there. That was strange. Let's see that again. Okay, locked back. I don't think I pulled it back enough. The Wilson Combat, you can see that high visibility front sight. It's an Ameriglow front sight on this Wilson, and again, fully serrated top strap. The more traditional 1911 profile slide, of course. Not as heavily flared and relieved on the ejection port, but everything is melted on the Wilson Combat. There are no sharp edges at all on this pistol. Fully serrated rear of the slide on this Wilson Combat. Ambi safety. Perfect amount of pressure on and off. Low profile concealment, magazine release on this pistol. I'll show you guys the trigger on this again. Hits the wall, breaks. Trigger on this Wilson, it's about 3.5 pounds. Really good reset, but not as springy as the Wesson. I did notice that. Still a very good reset though. One thing I did not mention, looking at the hammer on this, this is the Wilson Combat Retro Commander ring hammer. Absolutely beautiful. Bulletproof hammer. Very classy. Ball cuts on this slide on the Wilson Combat versus the Wesson just being a straight slab side. All the small parts on this Wilson Combat are DLC'd as well. So the only thing that isn't DLC'd is the frame. It's the standard armor tough, if I remember right, on the frame itself. 4-inch barrels on both pistols. Real fast to show you guys too. Holster options. This right here is a Kramer leather holster. Really nice holster made in the Pacific Northwest. Again by Kramer Leather. Again, it's made for a 4-inch 1911. This was actually bought way back in the day for two of my dad's Kimber Pro Carry 2s that he had. Again, lefty style. Very nice holster. Super good retention. Even as a, open top, no thumb break or anything. This right here is a Galco 4.25 Commander holster. But again, your 4-inch 1911s will fit perfectly in there. Just a little extra room at the bottom. Again, there's two holster options from Galco Gun Leather and Kramer Gun Leather. A really nice horsehide, if I remember right on this one. Special mention before I forget, I wanted to cover why I ordered this Wesson Combat 1911 when I did. I'm a big fan of the Colt Defender size 1911s. So, 1911s like this with the compact officer size frame. Because of a video game series called Uncharted, and as well, for any of you OGs out there, the original Last of Us. Of course, the remastered version right here on PS4 is again a remaster of the original game. And again, Joel's pistol is a semi-auto pistol of choice, a compact size 1911 and 45, even though it kind of hit like a 9 in the game. And in the remake, it's a Browning high power, if you guys didn't notice that. So, at first what I got as far as a Colt Defender style pistol was Magnum Research Undercover 1911. That was okay, but it wasn't up to snuff as far as quality and of what I expected out of a small style compact 1911. And I gotta tell you, this XTAC alloy compact right here is everything I ever wanted out of a Joel style compact 1911. It's just very impressive. Maybe one day I'll show you guys my dad's compact steel frame 1911 from Wesson. It's really nice as well. Big fan of the Wesson Combat carry size 1911. Very well made. 3.5 pounds. And dogs are going off still. Amazing trigger. And the ECP, if I remember right, it feels more like almost 5 pounds. Let's see what it reads at. 5 pounds. We're just going to go with that. Dan Wesson ECP. Again, probably a little bit better self-defense trigger. A tremendous trigger on the ECP. This is a little light, but it really is a phenomenal trigger on the Wesson Combat. Last couple things to mention on this video before we wrap it up. This is a blim Dan Wesson. You will notice that via the little upside down Y after the serial number. So sometimes you could possibly find a better deal on a Dan Wesson 1911 or revolver if you're able to get a hold of a blim model and you don't mind what the blim is. Let me tell you, most of the blims are pretty superficial and not an issue. One other thing I want to talk about again was the magazine. Talking about magazines, best quality 1911 magazines in my opinion out there are Chip McCormick, Wesson Combat, or Tripp Research CobraMags. Guys, a 1911 can really be made or broken with a quality or subpar magazine. So make sure you get good quality magazines if you're going to run a 1911. That's my suggestion to you. You can thank me later. But seriously, enjoy your 1911. If you are interested in a super high quality concealed carry style 1911, both of these pistols are superb options. Just up to you whether or not you want to spend the extra money on a custom gun or spend around $2K or less than $2K on a Dan Wesson ECP. The Wesson Combat as customized will run you about $5,000, so 5 racks. This, gotta tell you, for what it is very impressive for around $1,800. Brass bead front sight, if I didn't mention it. Pretty good sight picture on this Dan Wesson ECP. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. You have a wonderful rest of your day. I appreciate you all watching. And as always, remember, your Second Amendment is worth protecting.